What about this?
One second, I will explain to you in a second. I'm just gonna launch the live stream and I will explain to you everything in live motion. There we go. We are live. So everything is heard by YouTube. Hello, everybody. Whoever is watching this live or in recording, welcome to Citizens Odyssey. This is a format where we explore projects rather than people. And today I have Nick with me from Grubber. It's a Polkadot ecosystem project, not Polkadot project. Nick, hi, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
How are you, man?
I'm fine. It's nice weather outside, so it's like always when you're building something at home, you always, oh, so nice weather outside. One day I'll be outside and feel it, but never this happens. So yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I do and I don't because it's always nice weather where I am, more or less. But sorry, yeah. Sorry, I'm parallel trying to. So you know what? This time your first question was what fucking platform do we use to record those things? And I'm gonna answer you live. In case anybody is interested in it, we're using Riverside, which allows us to get slightly better quality from all those things that we record because basically it uses local recording, which allows us to record your separate track, our separate track, and then put them all together and work on the recording better. But that's the boring stuff. Nick, could you please introduce yourself and introduce the project you are working on?
Oh yeah, my name is Nick. I'm working on Grubber right now, so we are making something like fair distribution system. Is like common bullshit words right now, but we try our best. So we are making systems that allows projects to connect with the most relevant users they can receive on the market and make the most best thing we want to provide the users can make on-chain actions, on-chain traction, on-chain events, anything that really want to happen for real nice dApps. It's not usually actually in our blockchain sphere, but some of them really want to make some tractions, make some revenue, or whatever they want. So yeah, I'm like it's other bullshit works like I'm serial entrepreneur. I have I think like 50 startups in my to this day, and as most of them was as fintech and actual raw techniques, some events, and some of them in other stuff in the blockchain from 17, as I remember. Do something about revolutionize, other stuff, and the 21 year, I don't know how to pronounce it right. Just before the war, we make and Polkadot and WebAssembly platform. It was nice, but it can solve a lot of problems because it's Launchpad is completely different businesses. It's not completely different. It's very specific oriented business that more about selling, more about pushing something, but it can solve a lot of problems in the dApps right now. And after this, we understand that one of the biggest problems that projects have right now its ability to have the nice users and stimulate them, incentivize them. All shit happens on their net, whatever. So yeah, sorry.
No. I just wanted to reflect. So if I understand you correctly, your job is to help a project build a more efficient community.
Relevant. I can because dApps is like the dApps is very different one to one. So in many cases it can provide it can require very different type of users, but most of them should make some on-chain actions. So it's a nice question is how I should will potentially make on-chain actions, and very easy answer is let's research what they want outside your dApp and find relevant users with relevant experience and give them fucking tokens and let's go, guys, try our. For example, I never use NFT. I never sell NFT. I have some of them on my wallet, of course, as anybody, a lot of people in the market, but they never I don't understand how it works. Of course, I've been in OpenSea, I've been in Rarible, but I don't understand how it works. So if you want to onboard me in some NFT projects, it will be a stupid idea because, okay, I receive your NFT, but why? I need this. And games in blockchain, I don't be big lovers of blockchain games, but my co-founder from Sharif he is in love with games. So if you provide him the tokens of the games, he will go and use it because he's interested in this, me not. So it's really easy to see it on the blockchain, and really easy to provide the tokens for that kind of user. Stupid and very strict idea. I don't like it because on the current market, there's a lot of things like on-chain quests. I call event generation events for myself. I call it this way. So let's collect a lot of GGNs. Let's set them that they maybe have some free, and they go and do some sneaky stuff. And you know, a lot of action going on outside. But when they come away and everybody, so yeah. I don't understand this stuff. I am black either on the market, so I think that current existing users with existing experience on your DApp and provide something new for them, and try to make this user happier with your dApps, with their experience. And one of the nice experience as well, there's the elder finance. If you know what this is, you know what this is. Elder finance is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I don't know, I have no idea. But if I make some DeFi, some straight DeFi, some provide tokens for somebody who have benefits from finance, it's very big brain, guys. So it's over. Yeah.
So would you say that Grabber is a product more for founders and people who planning to build communities, and or can any user use Grabber really? What's the idea here? The idea is that
it's
go on.
Try to imagine Launchpad with projects. It's come in the it's like your dApp, either you have your dApp manager, you have sent any dApps, and you want to provide your tokens. So make claim events, and this event you provide to claiming tokens in some locations by the users that you are your event, and there's time frame and the time frame to claim these tokens after. And your idea is that users go to this event, register their wallets, we score them, provide information about what's the best, what's not the best, more relevant, less relevant, and you choose who will receive some allocation from you. And you provide for them user allocation to take this allocation. And we add the vesting options. It's more like normal way options like you can see in companies. It's because current vesting on the blockchain right now is like, I call it like unconditional vesting. So you will receive your stake in every 20 days or every 10 days, 5 times, 6 times. And it's like red candles that you as a DApp manager will receive because everybody will go and dump it. So it's like 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, and many hits. And from my point of view, it's not the right point. I think it's like cumulative vesting. It's like you can get your allocation only once. You can go at the early stage and receive 10%, or wait until the end and receive 100% of your allocation. The idea to make that the market one point like it's happened right now. It's dispersed between some time frame. So yes, but current idea is like Launchpad without taking money from the users and claiming that from the users and make some gamification about when you want to receive this. And it's like it's more fair from my point of view. Yeah.
Would you say that what you guys are doing is influenced or inspired. I don't know if you're familiar, but there are, I mean, to my knowledge, there are two projects I know that currently that their airdrops weren't just airdrops. They were like really thought out, well planned out analytical jobs. One was Evmos, and I think it was called Rect. They spent like half a year, if I'm not mistaken, at least publicly, maybe even longer, analyzing blockchain data of people who got wrecked by different contracts. And the more you got wrecked, the more allocation you received. So, which was a kind of sign that if you get wrecked, you probably are a good user, right? Because you're probably using things. And the other project I know of that did something similar is actually Cyber. They did actually a more extensive job, and it's interesting. The job that they did, they spent roughly 8 months researching the Ethereum blockchain, come up with 8 of users, one more developer focused, one more this focused, depending on the on-chain actions that those users would do. So the question is here, was what you are doing in any way influenced by something else, or was it like more, okay, we know there is a problem for founders to find relevant users and we want to help them solve that? What was the idea to, what the motivation, sorry, to launch Grabber? Why did you do that?
Actually, it's a great idea. I know this project. It's common. It's sometimes it's called like retro drops. So you like understand what the user done on your platform mostly, and it's typically it's like big with a lot of guys and some hypotheses that they have. And the bad point about this is that you can make it only one. Some retro drops based on user on-chain activity. Typically, it's connected with incentivization of action done on your ecosystem, like Cosmos does. So you see what they do on Evmos, and you provide airdrop for Evmos. It's nice, but from my point of view, it can be done in a repeatable way. For talking about launchpads, you can sell your project only once. Core problem that you can't sell it in the future with discount, because nobody understands why you should do this shit, this discount the tokens that only at some price. And if you're making some claiming event, some relaunching, incentivization anytime. So for example, if market goes big, not right now, I don't big believer it goes like, oh, we are on the bull market. No, guys. The interesting thing will happen shortly. You should wait. And for me, then the big things comes, and what the normal use cases comes, and a lot of users comes to our ecosystems. A lot of projects will do their relaunching. So you come for our like any one project and hey guys, we want to provide tokens. And at this point, we can be very nice tool to help them to understand and take new users from Ethereum, Polygon, BNB, whatever they want, and it's nice. So for me, Grabber is a nice thing to make on-chain actions. And actually, if you're a very nice product owner, you can make a lot of hypotheses with it. So if you come to, for example, Evmos case. So one idea, we want to provide a lot of tokens for somebody who loses a lot. Actually nice. So provide the tokens, take a look for 2 months and understand what they do. If these guys perform nice, you can add this more, or you can make hypothesis. For example, somebody who have a gas spending on the Ethereum. For example, as I understand right now, and the more chances that will be a developer, because developers typically, send this, no idea why. I have no time to understand how it works. I need to test it. If you're making something like claiming and some incentivization, a lot of hypotheses and make normal marketing actions that not typically common in blockchain right now, but yes. And if you're talking about comes this, mine and my co-founder became that the next big thing in crypto. We don't know what there will be social networks, games, gambling, we don't know where they are. But it will be, in many cases, connected with real on-chain action done by users. So right now, it's like you have to traction in that radar, you're a nice guy, you're a much bigger guy. I don't think so. I think that real on-chain revenue transactions will your dApp or your ecosystem will be center of the attention in the how we can help these guys to make this action, make this happen. It's typical model. So yeah.
And what currently what blockchains, what chains are you analyzing? Polkadot solely, or Ethereum, or anything else?
Right now we're using only Ethereum because it's two things why we EVM chain is in short future, because as I said, we add the things that we call events with intrinsic economic value. So, for example, if you're talking about Polygon, or not Polygon, if you're talking about some new L1 blocks, for example, there is no idea how you can spend a lot of gas. So you can put a bot and round. You can make an action, but there no intrinsic economic value in it. But if you're talking about Ethereum, and you spend, for example, 2 days ago, I used Melo protocol from our friend Nikolai Stoyev, and I spent 1 volt using. So I know what I do, and I want how I spend, and you can understand that if user spends a lot, it's nice users. And in case of most of chains, it's not common, not search and see how you can what the real users are, how you can find them, and Ethereum can provide this for you right now.
Let me sorry. But this is actually the next question for you. But you're a Polkadot project, right? You classify yourself like that.
We are.
So how does it work? Explain to me. Help me out.
For example, we currently understand a very nice thing, and we provide this value for Polkadot, and maybe it will be meaningful for Cosmos as well. The core idea is next. What if you can have instrument to move users from Ethereum to your ecosystem with different wallet system, address system, how you can do this? For example, you have some new Cosmos game, one of the areas, and you want to provide the new user for this game, and actually you have run in, you have access on it, and you have a lot of transaction inside, and how you can connect this. So we add into Grabber 2 wallet options. Right now it's Polkadot and Ethereum, and during the connection of the users, we collect a dot address and a EVM address, and collect the user, scores them on the EVM, and distribute it on the Polkadot or Cosmos. And I think it's very nice to relaunch the user from other ecosystem inside you. And of course, it's a lot of friction to be part of a new system, and if you provide some or some stuff for that, it's not NFT. It will be very nice to do. So yeah, and right now our idea to provide this thing to Polkadot to help them to receive some nice users and put them. Other things that for Polkadot right now, we see that there is some interesting thing happens inside. There is Polkadot relay chain. If you know how Polkadot structure is, and there is a power chain on it. The EVM pallets on the power chain. So some Astar Moonbeam, as I understand, centrifuge, and their growth very fast. They have many dApps, ecosystem dApps on it. So if you're talking about this, there is this nice EVM-based ecosystem on the Polkadot, and they're struggling with now the users because Cosmos fragmentation of underlay system to fragmentation of the communities. So fragmentation from any parachain is different communities, and to jump from one to other one. So to help them to, if you're starting some dApps on the EVM parachain right now, you can provide, you can with our tooling provide a free token to use parachain options or crowd-on option. So you want to, that very common Polkadot ecosystem that have the very native users, early adopters, voters, anybody on the parachain. If you use on the EVM chain, you can find how to connect these wallets with their wallets on the system. So we want to bind this and provide user provide dApps ability to incentivize somebody from the substrate. I hope I explained.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. But the question I have is actually, I don't know if you have this feedback already from the projects you are helping or that you are doing this research for, but I'm curious whether or not the users, like you always say, nice users, relevant users, good users, right? So the question is this: do those users turned out to be relevant? I mean, do you have this information already, or is it too early? I mean, the projects that you have provided this research for, or that you help to do these drops for, do they come back and say, yes, this is what we were looking for? Or are they like, I mean, the question, a different way to put it, is that on-chain analytics enough to really analyze their behavior, or it's not enough to analyze their behavior?
Yeah, right now we make a hand-picking research of, we have two events. We have one for the Algem. Algem is something like LiDAR on the Astar, and Astar itself. Astar ecosystem on the Polkadot is Plasma, as I remember, this was called in our early days. So it's very nice guy. Two different block parachain in the .sama and the Shiden on Viswasm palette on the Kusama, and Astar on the main on the Polkadot. So we're making Astar distribution. We Algem, we make an event and provides information for Algem because they don't have token right now, and they will use our system, our make fluent good claims. We have 2,000, I think it's near 2,000 of users comes to our system, and 148 system they use users, and we provide tokens for. And talking about the numbers, 70, I think it's near 15% of system is continue to use these tokens. They don't dump it. The real users of the Astar, and other 20% forgot about it. And some of, but what we see, and this was very, it's very straight, but we don't think about it. For example, I sent you tokens for you. You want to put it onto your cold wallet. How you see you transfer tokens, how you should spend it. But we see that near half of users that where we recipient of our claims use these tokens in the right way, not dumping them, not like going to the art swap and sell it. And I think 15% is nice. Maybe it's not so relevant. We of course need some future research. It's obviously, but we think it's nice start to try to make the right way to do, and a lot of things can be done, but it's not like everybody go outside, dump it to the Binance and go away.
It's a good number, actually. I would imagine it to be 80-20 the other way around, not the way you are saying 80-20. I would have think it's 80 dump and 20 leave, so it's very good results. In your opinion,
and actually, one second, yeah,
please.
And to be sure, we have chain, so all registration on chain, all users on chain, all allocation on chain, all claimants on chain. So all contracts provided on our event pages, researched by their eyes, by their hands. Like, it's not like Launchpad, nobody sees this. You can go and you can see how the users have 10,000 of us start talking in US equivalent. So a lot of them have. We don't have so much money, so it's not our wallet. So it's like transparent. We try to make it's like transparent, nice blockchain way, not like crypto banks like way. It's like okay, you can go. It's understandable that you can review the smart contract in binary from block scale because I have a huge block scale, but you can every transaction with every wallet and you can understand every one of them, how many they have funds, how they move, so it's okay. My fantasy.
In your opinion, slightly different question. I mean, I understand, I think, what you guys are doing, why you're doing it, what was the motivation to launch it. There is no like 85 here rather than already what you said. So it's slightly like a different question. I'm curious to, considering your job is technically in a way, right, is to help projects attract relevant users from one ecosystem to the other ecosystem, which could be, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here because our job at Citizen Cosmos is to do exactly that. Our job is bridging communities. This is our goal. When people ask us, what are you solving? Well, we want to be the bridge for layer 0. So, but still, I'm going to ask the question, the devil's advocate question here. Is what you're doing viewed upon as hostile actions by Ethereum community? Because I can imagine that somebody from Ethereum could say, oh, what are they doing, blah blah blah. I mean it sounds stupid, but I can see that some people can say that. Do you have that feeling, or do you think, okay, we are doing a good job, we are helping people to marry two ecosystems and understand each other? But how do you see? Do you get in this kind of responses? Is somebody saying to you things like that?
I have a lot of, like, from my point of view, there are big what we called community. Actually, I think you mean event-based community. In that, I've been in Ethereum 1 week ago, and this was for me. It's like why maybe you might want to. So there is a big thing. It's called Ethereum. It's 500,000 dollars per day, and the same big thing is a Binance Smart Chain. Same amount, 500,000. Numbers can be very, but it's quite big and it's like very fast. I don't want to discuss about centralization, about who's the stakes the Ethereum, staking the Ethereum problem, blah blah. A lot of things happens, but actually, is two big nets with a same big amount, and right now there is a and BNB and they like hate each other, and when a lot of projects and ask them, what do you use? No, it's too expensive. BNB use Polygon. It's like political solution. It's not like BNB, but not so expensive like Ethereum. And there is no actually case why they use Polygon. It's like, okay, we do like, it's like, it's not like some woke action, but some kind of it from my side. And I like, but they don't have any idea. They know that, but they won't use them. And BNB have much more users with much more experience, but it's not okay. Alchemy nodes, for example, or some, I don't know, I don't know right now, but Alchemy and Graph for in their services. So it's like big inclusive camp of what Ethereum itself, but BNB is the same in case of amounts. In our Polkadot case, when we research the nice thing, there is the Polkadot in the BNB, and there is right now 1,500,000 users with Polkadot inside. Users, it's quite close numbers. Nobody uses. What's going on in Ethereum itself? It's some clash between BNB and Ethereum, and nobody think about us ecosystem because it's too small for the receive any response. And there are a lot of things can happen on this BNB Ethereum war. So
Sorry, unmute. What about the Polkadot ecosystem? I mean, there is lately, and I don't want to sound hostile, but again, I'm like playing my devil's advocate. I always say that. So lately, I mean, I'm personally, I have a stake in Dot, and I have actually held it since the well, ICO or not ICO, whatever you want to call it. So for many years, um, and I remember that in 2020, I think 2020, 2021, 2020, there was a a lot of, movement towards Polkadot, and Polkadot was attracting a lot of developers. And personally, I am still a very big firm. I still have the same amount of level of curiosity towards that, and I still explore, and I want to explore more, and I still think that it's going to be one of the major playing communities in this space. Though my question is, currently it seems that if I go on crypto Twitter, let's call it like that, it doesn't look like crypto Twitter is as fond of Polkadot as it was 2 years ago. What is the reason for that? Has the Polkadot community become smaller? Has it lost some momentum? Has it not gained momentum yet? What's Am I totally off? What's the real thing is? Help me out a little bit here.
And typically when I've been on this event, it's like, for me, it's like I'm common advocate of the Polkadot because I understand how it works. It takes times, but I understand how it works. We made some WebAssembly smart contracts. I know what is Polkadot.js, how we can make on-chain identity. Everything, but for me, Polkadot is like my math theory. It's outside. So idea of Polkadot is very nice. You have like a lot of nice and very beautiful things inside. And it's when you know how to explain it, it's very beautiful. It's like some theory. And it's too big to push it forward. And but for me, the problem is not in that field. When we make a launch pad, I make a lot of what's going on, because it's big, it's nice, it's a lot of nice things to come, a lot of nice power chains, a lot of very nice comments like Plasma, as I say, like Manta, Interlay, a lot of Hydra. Jacobs doing the Jacobs makes Hydra effect balancer v3, but many years ago they built on Polkadot. It's a very nice thing, but the problem is that there is no such thing as Polkadot actually, because there was a relay chain community idea who buys the token. More like AWS, Amazon Web Systems. You can have account on Amazon Web System, but you won't use a website up on it. And there is a lot of parachain, a lot of fragmented community. And the better thing that there is a wars between these communities. Manta is better than Hilt. Astra is better than Moonbeam. Moonbeam has had scientific, not hate, but it's like not like a lot of. And Polkadot ecosystem don't behave like one big thing. It behaves like very fragmented, like ex-Soviet Union, try to make some stuff without knowing anybody, and that's the problem. So you can make it like do one big thing. In case of many ecosystem stuff inside, for example, you have different wallets. In many cases, you have Polkadot.js and such kind of wallets. You can have Ethereum, but you have different dexes, different equity staking, different games, different dexes, different sexes. You have everything different. Of course, change your mind between. So you have very fragmented community, and this is the nice fragmented technology on under the sea. It's common happen in Cosmos as my research, right? But I see that not everybody understands that back being one of being VeChain, DYDX come to Cosmos, but it will be different chains. And okay, you have Kepler maybe, but you have not used Kepler as well, but it was very different. And the problem don't behave like one big Polkadot ecosystem. We have like a chain. And what the thing, as I told before, we try to solve with Grabber, we try to connect new DApp ecosystem with native Relay guide. Long auction. Provide tokens for you. You know how this shit works. You buy this a long time ago. You want to use this. Provide tokens for you. If you receive this, you will use. You will make on-chain activity. Maybe you, and it's much better than take somebody no-name guy with zero Polygon activity and provide tokens for them, because they have some your project on top of you. So this core idea it should behave. We try to. We are not, you know, we are not again good. We are like work with DApp from the ecosystem, and we can try to provide some experience. But as I told, the problem that the very big brain stuff. I know some of this is very nice. It's like I like it a lot. And these guys never think about community. They want to make some mass shit happens, and they do this. So yeah, I hope I explained it.
You did. I mean, because technically, I mean, I can bring other examples. I mean, I'm curious, but do you think it should be like that? Because, I mean, if you look at football, there is no football community. There is a community of Manchester United and Manchester City.
Nice.
You know, I mean, and if you talk about the internet, you don't have Facebook community. You don't have HTTP community. You have Facebook community or Instagram community. There is no HTTP community. You know, that everybody's, oh, we use the internet, we should be together. So do you think that it's gonna, I mean, Cosmos is like that. Cosmos is exactly like that. Just like Ethereum, just like Cosmos, just like Polkadot, you know, somebody uses Aave and somebody uses, I don't know, MUSD or whatever, Liquidity. I don't know. There are many, not the best examples, synthetics, whatever. Just like in Cosmos, somebody uses. So the question is, do you think though we should try to, if it seems that people just divide themselves all the time, you know, whether it's football or food, you know, I mean, you don't have food community. You have people who go to Chinese restaurant or to Japanese restaurants and they get over these interests together. They don't Asian food. No, I like Chinese food. I like food from North China. You like food from South China. And, you know, it goes in deeper. Exactly. So should we push people though to like to unify them, or should we just leave it like that and say, hey?
For me, I'm like a storytelling guy. I always try to make some samples and some results. I think that one of the things that we make our blockchain life harder is the onboarding problem. So as I told before, if I want to go to Cosmos, if I want to go to other team or other restaurant, I should go inside with some card inside or some cash, and I will be. I eat something. Maybe I don't like it, but it's too easy to be part of something new in the football, in restaurant life, and it's quite hard to go to Cosmos and ask why to stay in area in what zone in. What I should stake, Ethereum, there's no Ethereum inside, what I should do, how I should exit, and a lot of things comes, and there is a lot of friction on onboarding. Better think, and if you're talking about other anything between any project, a lot of even in one ecosystem, what we call Polkadot or Cosmos, a lot of friction inside. Can make it zero actually. I have no idea right now.
But it sounds to me that what you're talking about, I mean, I don't want to dig that if you don't want to, but it sounds like what you're talking to me is a feature, not a bug. It sounds like, okay, a person has choice, good. And basically you're saying, no, they don't need choice. Let's onboard them like that. This is the only way to do it. This is your lane. Don't go left, don't go right, follow this, and you will be okay. But, you know, I mean, isn't blockchain is all about, hey, I want my responsibility. Hey, I want my choice. There you go. Now you have your choice. You're part of the Polkadot, Cosmos, Ethereum, whatever community. yes, you can stake with Rocket Pool, you can stake with Lido, you can stake with, I don't know, whoever less, some centralized exchange. You could Hobby or KX or whatever, or you could put up your own node and stake. Isn't that kind of like a feature?
Maybe when you try to explain me, I remember that I think it's transaction between is close to relocation to other countries. So of course you can live in Spain, for example, but it was quite hard days to do this, and you can go from Spain to Italy, but this was even you use Airbnb, any other stuff. There was many things will happen and many problems you will solve in this case. Of course, you can live in Spain, in Italy, in France, in Emirates, but you will solve a lot of problems on the way on it. It's very to one right now. But for me, it's an interesting thing that I see another thing that we will happen. A lot of actions, it happens with Web2, Web3 connections right now. So like Gelato stuff and other things, a lot of guys come and why we need to onboard user and make non-custodial values for them, why they need to, like, I know you're like a lot of big guy in crypto, you can imagine that somebody don't want non-custodial, but yes, a lot of guys, like, we try to make the friction, provide them the seed phrases or the public addresses, and we try to make it available from any app, typical app, from iPhone, from web app, from anywhere. And I think when I think about this, I think half a year ago, I was like, oh wow, it's not, I don't know why it uses this. Is you can use some centralized stuff. Okay, there was some permissionless flavoring. It's not like the core idea, but it's growing big, and it can be big. When we're talking about use case, maybe Web2, Web3 connection. In this case, yes, you can be a part of anything. Don't have friction on it.
Topic for you.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I'm alive. I have another topic for you that we both mentioned before the recording started, and is a topic I have written down for me here. It's a devil's advocate again, as usual topic. But what do you think about
red-haired? Yeah.
What do you think about analyzing on-chain data? I mean, on one hand, you're not doing anything wrong, right? But on the other hand, you kind of like, okay, let me try to go from the other side here and to see how it looks. So let's imagine, that one of the reasons we try to go away from Web2 is the constant surveillance, right? Is the constant, not just Web2, but this world that we live in. I mean, especially if you live in England or in somewhere in Northern Europe, like, I don't know, Netherlands or Belgium, you're constantly monitored. You have on every website, you have 20,000 cookies. Outside, you have cameras. On everything that you do, you have monitored every your actions. End of the day. But then again, when we analyze, kind of on chain, I mean, do you see what I'm getting at? I mean, I don't know if it's a problem, but what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's inclusivity because you focused on things that people done, and not a lot of users actually done this. It's not like current market situation. So I think that if talking about events, they fight for same users. And we're talking about big amounts, or not like Binance, for example. I think 1inch is very different, but they fought for same users, the whales, or how you want to name it, and some gigants, there's like or other stuff. Somebody who wrecked, and maybe a lot of these users already the same users as we know from other projects. It can be like motivation for new users to make some new stuff to done, because it's like not only inclusive but transparent. For example, if you provide these users have nice game experience, or this a lot of benefits on the OpenSea. And we try to explain for users something big, how they can grow. For example, if I provide the users, it's one of my steps. For example, games, and we explain to the users, we see that games comes to us and they want to distribute for somebody who have benefits or somebody who have nice screen time and play a lot. So we can users and they can try to be as good as this. And in this case, it's not like on-chain quest where a lot of low quality users do stuff they don't want to understand. It can be measured, it can be targeted, it can be relevant, as I said before. But yes, inclusivity is one of the cases, is actually paradigm that we are living life in. A lot of guys thought that, I think there is only a few 10 of thousands of blockchain doing something, and we're doing every stuff only for these people. And it can be true. We don't know right now, but I know that NFT is very close cycle between the users.
But in general, do you think it philosophically aligns with what is Web3 stands for, or the philosophy of doing in-depth on-chain analytics should not be on Web3? What's your opinion?
I think it should like it can be core of. So I try to explain. It's more like your first step to a nice idea to test something and put it live. So you can go with this, but absolutely right. You should provide a lot of other marketing stuff after. So you can. What's the problem of the blockchain itself? For me, blockchain, firstly, is a peer-to-peer payment system. And if you can describe your debt, is the app working on top of peer payment system? It's a nice app. If you can talk like this, that because if you have some payment system inside that can have value, because the problem is that if you don't have payment system, you don't have value of your coin, and if you don't have value in the coin, it can be wrong because you pay for an other action with your gas that is was paying this way because it's decentralized right now. So as a problem with the payment system that you have great first demand and first supply to have transaction going inside. First demand of user who want to sell it, and after you have that first pile, you can grow it. But without it, it can't work. It's like we typically say blockchain, if you want to put down to zero, you cannot go back and forever. So you'll be zero forever. So you can't lose it. You should have it, and this is a problem to receive the first user. But it's, of course, it can be from my point of view, it can be like forever. It's like the first step that can be done by us as with us help. I don't know what we do the next thing, but we right now can help you to push your payment system inside your app to make it work.
It's a good point that you came to. You said, I don't know what we do next, because like the last topic of discussion I wanted to talk to you about was motivation, but motivation. One of the major topics that we discuss with a lot of guests, with a lot of the podcast, the stream guests that we have, is what you're doing aligning, with what you want to do? Is the motivation for you to help projects now find these user bases? Kind of, does it align with why you wanted to do this? Was this the same reason? Do you think that what you're doing is helping people? Do you think that it's a good thing? Yeah, like.
Yeah, Anna always asks me this. I always don't want to answer this. But yes, for me, it's like something interesting to research, or something interesting to understand, because I don't like big fan of because always people like users want to have security. There is some cyberpunks, yeah, and these guys put ENS on their twitters. Oh fuck, we are very security way. Move your funds a lot and make NFT with your names. Put your mind NFT with your names, guys. It's not like what it should be work like but for me, blockchain provides the first thing, sustainable community ecosystems that can work inside themselves. I don't think it can be like in DAO way like now. We can create some closed source with some activity guides. It can be repeatable, renewed, and they can be incentivized. They have the state but back to communities, and it was wow. Another thing, you can make permissionless. So if I want to put Visa payment on my website, it will be hard way to do right now. But if I want to receive something on Ethereum or Polygon or Polkadot, I can do this. And this is like permissionless way. If I'm from China and I want to make some games, it was hard way to take money from South. But if you have some crypto payment gateways, was completely nice, and it was nice. So for me, it's two things. It's like it's not about security, not about the stuff the people talking about in many cases. So that's why I like it, and it's very nice thing about my motivation. It's a very new stuff to make research, and it's very new stuff to make big things happen. I understand right now how it works. A lot of stuff is shit is about how, but wow, we don't. Nobody understands how it works. Nobody quorums. Nobody understands how to incentivize DAOs. And but it's like fucking, it's working somehow. And it was a lot of things to make happen. So that's why I'm curious. And my research, I always embark with researchers, and it was a very nice thing to make researches about people. So yeah, like Doctor.
No, I understand. And to be honest, I mean, if you think about it, what we are doing is we're doing the same thing. We are researching people because our education line of what we do is by researching the people who build and trying to get into their heads, to help other people to get into their head and to see whether it's good or not, which is exactly what you're doing, but on a different scale and on a different playfield. But in essence, it's pretty much the same thing.
You work in Cosmos.
We are the frequency is tuned in, man, all the time, man. And when Venera goes to Mars, you know how it goes. Nick, thank you very much for joining us. It was the first time we tried to speak with somebody from the Polka community, and it's nice as well to hear that the Polka community is aware of the Cosmos community, and the Cosmos community is aware of the Polka community. And I'm hoping that there will be more and more things like that, that more and more intercommunity communication.
We need L-1 right now to make some connection under the blanket. Thanks so much. I like your question. I try to be honest as I can, because I think the community is missing something about understanding of the community is one of the missing points of blockchain right now. It's not about technology point of view. Technology is nice, but it's more about communities. And I think it's very nice. I would like a question, not about that I know you, but it was really nice questions. I always try to some near philosophical discussion. It was. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Nick, I'm going to stop the stream. Don't hang up just yet. Thank you, everybody, for watching the video, whichever way you watched it. So let me just stop the stream.